Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Board of Trustees for the School District of Mystery Lake for Tuesday, May 9th, 2017. Regrets this evening from Trustee Oliveira. The trustees have before them their agenda. I'd like to know if there's any additions to the agenda which is before you. Does anybody have any additions for the agenda? Okay, a motion to approve the agenda, please. Trustee Land, seconded by Trustee McDonald. All in favor? Opposed, if any. The motion is carried. Adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting, which was held on April the 25th, 2017. Any errors or omissions in those minutes that are before you? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes from April 25th. Trustee Fitzpatrick, seconded by Trustee Lychuk. All in favor? Okay, opposed if any, the motion is carried. Okay. Delegations and presentations. Our first delegation this evening is from the students here at Riverside School. So if you want to come up to the front and do your thing, please.
So tonight, Student Council has prepared a PowerPoint for you guys to show you different things that we've been doing throughout the year. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Betty Duhame. I teach grade 5 French immersion here. And we also have...
I'm Marcia Oster. I teach grade 2 French immersion.
And then we have some of our Student Council members.
Stan Steve.
I'm Pooja Garg.
And I have Permanent.
Perfect, and the girls have prepared the PowerPoint, so if you guys want to go ahead. And we'll also have a video that we did on anti-bullying that we'll show you afterwards.
So we have a lot of kids and students in Student Council this year, and we're a mixture of grade 6s and grade 8s. We've had a pretty exciting year this year, and it was really interesting to come up with a lot of ideas and a lot of activities that we could host in our school. The first activity we combined with our school counselor, and we decided that we would be role models for younger students in our school. We stayed after school Mondays and Wednesdays, and we did some team bonding exercises. We had some problem-solving activities, and sometimes we just played games with them. For Halloween, we did a haunted house, and so we all stayed and we decorated a room and made it creepy. And we added some fun music and kind of just got creative with it.
Jaden, you want to go?
Okay. We also did a costume contest for Halloween. So we had them dress up, and then we were student council. Some would go around and judge them. We also did a pumpkin carving contest where we handed out one pumpkin per class and separated into 3 groups, K-2, 3 to 6, and 7 to 8. And the prize was a box of candy for one winning class out of all age groups.
For Valentine's Day, we had a sock hop, and we made decorations. We set up our gym. We made a playlist, and so they got to come, have some snacks, and just dance to music with their friends.
We also did for Valentine's Day candygrams. So we had a little sucker with the thing, and it was 25 cents, and they could buy it for their friends or anybody like that. We also fundraised for the Dream Factory. We raised approximately $800. We held a spirit week. So Monday we had Pajama Day, Tuesday we had Jersey Day, Wednesday 80s Day, Thursday Crazy Hair Day, and Friday
Take a Stand is a play that we put together, and we started to write it last year, and we decided to give everyone a task and put it in motion this year. So we wrote a fictional story about bullying and how it works and how everyone has an impact on how it ends.
What we have planned for the rest of the school year is a special sock hop, a magic themed party where costumes are permitted, and the lunch on the lawn where family members and that can come out for a lunch time, and then you just have like hot dogs and hamburgers and all that.
You ready for it?
Okay.
We'll show the play now, the
Yeah.
video.
The play is only approximately 5 minutes long, so it's not too bad. Hopefully the volume will be okay.
Ready to go. Sorry.
This production is brought to you by the Preschool School Student Council. We have thought of this idea last year and have brought it into motion in the 2016-17 school year. Keep in mind, this is a fictitious story, an example of bullying and how you can stop it. The story begins with Clark and Maya waiting for the bell to ring.
I have some time before school. Hey, cute picture. Thanks. Uh-oh. What? Don't turn around. Why? Oh, look. Ugly Times. Two standing in front of me. Why do you guys have to be like that?
Clark is visibly upset. Maya tries to comfort her.
Why? Are you okay? Do you need a friend? Why do they always have to pick on us? I don't know. Oh, look. Freaks are right here. Let's go. Ignore her. How can I? She just hit me.
In the classroom,
Aujourd'hui, on fait la science humaine et on va continuer la discussion. You're late. Just sit down. La discussion de hier. Les maisons du village étaient faites en boue séchée au soleil ou de cave. Le bois, parce que le climat était extrêmement chaud, utiliser les maisons devenaient un peu près au sommet et entre l'entreposage et l'environnement. La plupart des activités se déroulent à l'extérieur de l'environnement. Les écoles
making plans.
Hey, do you want to sleep over tonight? Sure, after school. Sounds great. Looks like we're having a slumber party. Oh, I'll bring the popcorn. No, we're crashing Clark and Maya's sleepover. Come on. Oh, okay. Look, there they go again.
We need to put an end to this.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, meet me at 47 at 7 p.m. Wait outside.
Okay, we're crazy. Okay, see you.
Crashing the sleepover.
Finally, it's Friday. I know, I can't wait for tonight. Me neither, this is gonna be so much fun. We can order pizza and watch movies. This is going to be fun. What's gonna be fun? Crashing the sleepover, duh.
You're late.
Sorry.
Let's follow them around back.
Apples on a stick, they make me sick. They make my heart go. What are you doing here? To sleep over, duh. Did you guys follow me home? Of course not. Duh. Just before we leave, we just wanted to tell you to change schools. Why? Because nobody likes you. Just get out of my house. Fine.
Reporting the bully.
Look, there she is.
We need to show you something.
Is it serious? What's it about?
It's about Whitney, Kendall, and Quinn.
Okay, come into my office. We took this video as proof.
Sleep over, Dad. Did you guys follow us home? Of course not. Dad, what are you guys doing? We just came to tell you that you should choose schools.
I've seen enough. How long has this been happening?
All this year.
Okay, thank you, boys. You should get to class now.
Bullies are caught red-handed.
Quinn, Whitney, and Kendall, please report to the principal's office immediately.
Huh? Okay.
What is this?
I think it's us.
Quiz?
Why?
What's your point and how'd you get that?
Get out of my house.
Have you been bullying Clark and Lana?
Well, we haven't really been bullying them. It's more like teasing them over and over again.
Do you know that's the same thing?
Yeah, and?
Well, you know the consequences, right?
I don't know, like detention or something?
No, you girls are suspended for 2 days, and I want you to write an apology letter for both girls.
I guess we did take it a little too far. Maybe she's right. I thought you guys were my friends.
We're really sorry, Mrs. Lopez. I hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
Don't be a bystander. You should stand up to the bully and report them whenever you can. And also, don't be a bully, be a friend.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the trustees? Or-
I have a question, just about your fundraising. It was the Dream something that you were fundraising for?
Factory.
The
The
dream.
Dream Factory.
And what is that?
To help like six kids.
Help pay for
It's
their
through
expenses.
the Winnipeg
Yeah.
hospitals.
All right, very good. Well, great work. Really impressive. I really like the lambs and rams stuff. That sounds like fun. It's too bad we didn't have a heads up. We could have played.
How many students you guys had with you? You had 10 students that we targeted in the school that had some different issues throughout the school, so the students took that on as a project themselves.
Oh, what fun.
Yeah.
And why 6s and 8s or 7s not allowed?
Just no
Just
interest
no-
in
okay.
grade 7.
I'm just wondering.
Something about grade
Last year was
7.
grade 6 and 7, this year it's 6 and 8.
Okay, got it.
And the neat thing about the student council, there's no elected positions either. They just all work
Yeah.
together and they do what they can and they're not too bad.
That's a great
Collaborative
system.
student council.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like it.
Collaborative student council.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
All
great
righty.
work.
Okay, thank you for telling us about what's going on here at Riverside. Awesome, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. Our second delegation tonight is Murray Kissick and Sandra Ross Hitch, who will be talking to us about the 2018 Manitoba Winter Games, which everyone knows will be held in Thompson in March 2018. Okay?
First of all, thank you for letting us come in and speak today, and I'd like to introduce Murray Kissick. For you who don't know who he is, he moved here in 1981 to teach at the school district of Mystery Lake until his retirement in 2014. And today he still works as a substitute teacher for the district. He's heavily involved with sports, especially in golf and minor hockey. He has participated in winter games twice. He's been an official and his children have participated. For you who don't know who I am, I'm Sandra Ross Hitch. I moved here in 1992. I retired from the aviation industry after 32 years, 25 with Comair, and I now do still work for the school board also. But I guess my passion is volunteering. I like to see organizations in this community succeed and give back to the community that I love so dearly. So for me, I bring the business background, and he brings the sports background to the Winter Games itself. Murray and I thought it was very important to come here today and do a presentation to you, and where we are with the games right now and where we're going with the games, and maybe a little bit of background about the games itself. But first, we'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for first moving the spring break next year so Thompson could host these games. Prior to Murray and I being asked to co-chair these positions, the school district of Mystery Lake committed to the city of Thompson their facilities so that the athletes could be housed and some of the sports could be held in them. And tonight, on behalf of the 2018 Thompson Manitoba Games Host Society, we're here officially to ask you for those facilities and to thank you for the board for their commitment to these games itself.
And I'll allude to that a little bit later near the end. Just to give a background of the games itself for those who may not be familiar. 1974, the games started in Winnipeg as a celebration of their 100th anniversary of being a city. And 4 years later, there was Winter. Then there was a gap, and then it started again in '86 in Flin Flon. And they then followed the Olympic program where you would have a Winter Games every 4 years, but you would also have a Summer Games every 4 years, alternating in there. So every 2 years there would be a game. In regards to that, so in that time period, including the Winter Games and the Summer Games, you have a total of about 7,500 people directly involved, whether they be a volunteer, whether they be an athlete, a coach, an official, of all kinds. So it's a tremendous amount of people in the background, let alone others that are involved with the government, Sport Manitoba, etc., and along those things. So it is something that's huge for any community that hosts that.
So why Thompson? So for the people that don't know a little bit of background, Verdun bid for the 2018 games when it came down to about 18 months prior to the games where you need to have your board or your organization in place. They couldn't get enough volunteers to sit on that organization, that board. The Winter Games itself hasn't been up north since 2002. It was in the PA, and OCN hosted it. Thompson held the last Winter Games in 1994, and some of the Thompsonites will remember those games. They were very successful. In 2012, Thompson bid for the 2014 Winter Games, and they were unsuccessful. So Sport Manitoba actually took that bid package, came up in January after Verdun said that they couldn't find enough volunteers, and pitched that to the city, and the city committed for us to host the games.
And that brought forth three particular parties. You have Sport Manitoba, you have the City of Thompson, and you have the host society, which is co-chaired by us, and the volunteers underneath it. We do have, we're going to leave that later.
Yeah.
I'll let you do that later.
Okay.
And so we'll get to that a little bit later, the body of itself. With that, we had to come up with a mission statement, something that is ours, as every Games has done, and ours is to deliver a multi-sport event for young athletes from around the province that will exhibit the northern spirit of our community through our facilities, cultural awareness, and volunteer engagement.
So I don't know how many were around in 1994, but they'll remember the games, and the games itself have evolved. And back in 1994, it was a participation games. Each region would participate. We would have events. Different age groups would participate in these events. Sport Manitoba has now done away with that philosophy, and this is actually the best amateur athletes under 17 that'll be here. And you will see these athletes one day be on the national, world, or even Olympic stages in the future. And these specific under 17 athletes have to participate in these games to go on to the Western Canada Games and even the Canada Games. So this will showcase our community for the best in the province, actually, of under 17 athletes. And Sports Manitoba has come a long way. We don't have to invent the wheel as the host society. They actually have evolved where here's your package. You must do things to what the package that they give us. We can augment that package and make it a Thompson flair, but this is what you have to deliver. This is the timeline, and this is what's required.
Yeah, so every every community puts their little stamp of what they would like on there, and it gets passed on to the next group, whoever's hosting the next games, and it kind of follows that. Something we didn't mention before is that there are actually it happens to be me this time, Cassandra nominated me. We get put on the Games Council. A co-host from a previous games is put on the Games Council, which then carries through what's going on with their games, and then to the next games and helping those people out in regards to what worked, what went right, what went wrong, all those kind of things. So they really see a need to keep it continuing, to keep it improving. 15 sport event in 2 phases, as stated, March 4th to the 10th. Phase 1, sports are archery, which used to be a summer sport, now it's winter sport. Cross-country skiing, curling, male and female under 17. Gymnastics, female and male. Male hockey, ringette, and something the city of Thompson wanted to once again promote Mystery Mountain, alpine skiing. It wasn't originally in there, but they want Mystery Mountain to be utilized again, and so alpine skiing will be there. Phase number 2, badminton, figure skating, curling, female and male under 15, speed skating, indoor speed skating, which is a new event this particular year for our games, female hockey, wrestling, table tennis, and swimming. Once again, was not in the original package that Sport Manitoba presented, but the city wanted to utilize the Norplex pool, and therefore swimming was added as well. So 15 sport games.
So Thompson will see approximately 14 to 1,500 athletes, with additional we think about coaches and officials. 3 schools. We've said that 3 schools will be villages. The female is at Westwood School, the male is at Burntwood School, and Riverside School will see the coaches and the officials. Artie Parker will have the food services. The Trojan gyms will hold archery and badminton, and table tennis will be at Deerwood School.
Yeah, and that's just astronomical that 5 of the 7 schools are going to be used for this. So it's a coming to an ask later. At the VRCC, in the Bill Kamaski Wellness Center, gymnastics and wrestling. The provincial gymnastics was recently held there, and nothing but huge Pilates, especially because the windows and the sun shining in there in the winter time, and it was ran very, very well in there. Hockey, ringette, speed skating, figure skating, of course. Plus opening and closing ceremonies will be in the CA, Nesbitt, and GB arenas. The ceremonies itself in the CA, Nesbitt arena to handle the number of people that will be there. One thing to make note before I continue on is that it's free for spectators. Okay? One thing that is very, very evident for the games is to promote the youth, but at the same time allow people to see that youth. And so by having a free games, certainly gives you an opportunity, and we are really lucky. And now that I'm going to mention the outdoor aspects, or somewhat not in VRCC, you got the Burn Curling Club for the curling. You have alpine skiing at Mystery Mountain, which is the furthest away of anything that we're doing. The Jack Crawley ski trails, I think they're called the City of Thompson ski trails, maybe. The name is, we all know when I say Jack Crawley, across the Popeyes. They were being utilized for cross-country skiing, and then the Norplex pool for swimming. So the one thing that certainly Sport Manitoba realized when they came, we have everything right there. It is going to work out extremely well for us so that people can view a lot of sport and they don't have to travel far for that.
So kind of where we are today, Murray and I were asked to be co-chairs, so we said yes. We've incorporated, so we are actually a non-profit organization called the 2018 Thompson Manitoba Games Host Society. We're independent from the city. We have our own books, we have our own budget, and our budget is approximately $600,000 to $800,000. We do have an executive board in place, approximately 10 members, and one of them just being from Sport Manitoba itself. We have, that's the executive itself, and the executive then sits on the board, and the board has 20 members, and including Janet Brady that sits on our board. And then the organization itself
divisional chairs and division co-chairs is approximately 70 people as a whole. So our organization is 70 to 75 volunteers that meet monthly to get the job done. So we have all of those in place right now. So we're actually much ahead of Verdun in that respect. But we'll need about approximately 800 more volunteers to do approximately a 4-hour shift. So we were actually at the trade show this weekend and we got over 200 names. So we are very pleased with that. As an organization, we'll employ 2 employees locally. One has been hired and it's Dave Martin. He's our games coordinator. The second one will come on board approximately January of next year and assist the games coordinator prior to the games itself. And we actually have a games office, and it's in the VRCC right beside Sport Manitoba's office.
And so that works out perfect because you got the rec department right there as well. So a lot of that's contained there, and it works out well for us. Now, impact in regards to the economic aspect, we had a meeting with the chamber. We let them know this as well to pass this on to the school district. When you have that amount of people, you're also going to have about 1,000 visitors we're expecting coming in. So certainly the use of the hotels themselves, restaurants and the meals that are there, other things that they're going to see and realize about our community, the diverse culture that's there. We just, speaking of the trade show, we were at Morris Lambert's, the 50th of Lambert's itself, and of course his birthday. And his brother Fern hadn't been back here since he retired, and in that 13-year period, the changes that he's seen, as well. And so, as those of us that have been involved with things before, whether it was I'll just use the 3 curling events, 2 Scotties and 1 tankard that we had. Everybody left not realizing that what was here, and I think that's something we wish to promote along with that sport. UCN, of course, is going to get 1,400 athletes coming through there, and we're going to do a little promotion for them as well in regards to possibly having students looking at educating themselves there. I have a daughter graduate from there. She has a daughter that will be graduating from there in the nursing programs, both of them, and others heavily involved in that as well. So, and that leads to upgrade some of our facilities that we see with that, with the agreement we have with the city and Sport Manitoba.
So before we wrap it up, I'd like to turn to Murray. He's got the goods.
And I want to go back again to the beginning and certainly thank the school district of Mystery Lake. It was put to you. We did come up with it. I know you did come up with a different week, and maybe there was a week later due to sport itself with their things that they need. There was about 5 or 6 of those sports that had needed a different weekend for their provincial team aspect, and so it was moved. So that in itself, we certainly want to thank you for doing that. I also want to thank right now and recognize Trustee Brady, Trustee McDonald, and Trustee Fitzpatrick, who are all on our games committee in one way or another. Don's badminton, correct, Don? It's sport badminton. Janet's like in the executive role, and Sandra's hospitality is what she's doing in that. So right off the bat, and then probably the most perfect person to handle villages is Keith Dirksen, right? So having someone from the board who knows the schools inside and out, can easily follow the guidelines, and that's his recommendation, came through for which ones would be for the athletes, which ones for the coaches and officials, and then of course the food services in regards to that and other things. So working with Keith for us is going to be extremely easy in that. So it brings to us a couple of things that I know that can't be given us an answer at this particular time, because it may need a motion and it may need approval, but we certainly would like to have these asks that you could contact myself through the webmail at a later date. That be that happening. One of the things is volunteers, as we've alluded to many times, realizing it's spring break, and I can only go back to '94 when I had 4 young kids, and it was Filming Fridays, and the board at the time chose to take some of those Fridays, Filming Fridays, and put them onto the March break. So for those time periods, we had 2 weeks at March break, which certainly people from Nova Scotia really liked, so they could go home. And those of us who had young kids to get away was a better opportunity as well, that time period. That doesn't happen this time around, but what we do have in place, and that the host society would like to maybe have you look at, would be putting in an amendment to do the 50 hours for 1 day leave that we have. I know that would need an amendment to that particular contract that's within negotiations, so I don't know how that would work. But it's an ask that we would have you look at that maybe would entice our teachers to volunteer as well. Anything we can to get them going. And also, I don't know whether you've looked at it. I know you've agreed to it. We do have agreement with the city. We don't necessarily need an agreement per se with the school district, as I talked to Sport Manitoba. Having it in the minutes is certainly adequate enough. But it was, our wondering is, have you looked at custodial hours and overtime and in regards to payment and what your thoughts were on that? And we are thanking and the knowledge was given, in regards to the schools and value in kind, in regards to rental of facilities, and it hasn't really been stated. So I think it's important for us as a host society in regards to our budgetary items, and I think it's important for you as a board that is somehow put down as a motion or pass, so that, as we all know in different fields that we work in, if it ever comes back, we want to be able to have that backing. So that's a real need for coming at this particular time. I felt it was important to put those out to you, to maybe have that down whenever that happens, whether it's a new business tonight or whether it's late table to another meeting, but so that it can be rectified and so that we can move on with our own budgetary process as well. Anything like that, Sandra?
No, I just really like to thank the board itself for even thinking and offering to move the date and the facilities. It's really nice to know that we're all in this together, right? And that when a community needs something, the school board steps up also, and so it's really nice to see that, and I want to thank you. And there's a couple other corporate sponsors that we have to thank. It's Sport Manitoba itself. Sport Manitoba is moving to try to give us 50%, and every game's 50% of the budget, so that's really good. Manitoba Hydro is one of the corporate sponsors and has been a lead corporate sponsors for the last few years on the games itself, so we thank them. We thank the city because we're going to be using their facilities also, and we thank you for offering the school district's facilities. And if you have any questions, other questions that you would like to ask us, we're here right now to answer anything else you'd like to know.
Any questions from any of our trustees? No, not at the moment. We'll certainly keep you up to date on what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming, Sam.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Awesome.
Sounded like it was on here.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want,
Thank you about that.
I don't think you misunderstand his sense of humor that much.
at the end of our agenda? Like
Like
for us
first?
guys? Yeah, but not the public, just for the trustees. I think it'll have to be at the end of the agenda, Jonathan. Okay. Alrighty, okay, back to our agenda. Okay, so, Leslie. Okay, so item number 5, business from previous board meetings. It doesn't look like there is anything, so we'll move on to our Superintendent of Human Resources, Ms. Bartlett.
I've provided you all with a written report. It's in your package. As you can see, there are a number of teaching jobs posted. And we are in full gear in terms of interviewing and hiring, so there have been some positions been awarded as well. I have written some of the events and or meetings or community things that I've been involved in. Been in attendance. And I have some retirements and some resignations. So for retirements, Lori Smith has submitted her letter of retirement effective June 30th, 2017. She's been employed with the district since 1990, which is 27 years. She's worked at Wapanuck, at that time Eastwood School, as well as Juniper and Artie Parker in the math and English departments. And on behalf of Lori, myself, and the Board of Trustees, we wish her well in her retirement and whatever her future entails. So we have some resignations. Natasha Nanskaville has submitted her letter of resignation effective June 30th. Ms. Nanskaville has been employed with the district since November of 13 as a French immersion and social studies teacher at Artie Parker. Paul Tucker has submitted his letter of resignation effective June 30th, 2017. Mr. Tucker has been employed with the district since 2013 as an early/middle years teacher at Wapanuck and Deerwood School. Mr. Zoller has submitted his letter of resignation effective June 30th. He's been employed with the district since 2009 as a behavioral support teacher at Wapanuck. Jen McCaig has submitted her letter of resignation effective June 30th. Ms. McCaig has been employed with the district since 2012 and has worked at Wapanuck as a junior high teacher, Artie Parker as a social studies teacher, and in the English department as well. Janine Plummer has submitted her letter of resignation effective June 30th of 17. Ms. Plummer has been employed with the district since April of 2012. She's been in the drama and English department at Artie Parker. Ryan Barker has submitted his letter of resignation effective June 30th. Mr. Barker has been employed with the district since 2013. Presently, he is working as the Education for Action support teacher at Artie Parker. And Adam Olescu has submitted his letter of resignation effective June 30th, 2017. Mr. Olescu has been employed with the district since January of 2013 as the metals teacher in the Practical Arts department at Artie Parker. Janie Brunel has submitted her letter of resignation effective June 30th, 17. Ms. Brunel has been employed with the district since 2011. She has worked as a behavioral support teacher at Juniper and is presently a teaching vice principal at Brentwood. And Bobby Ellis has submitted his letter of resignation effective June 30th, 2017. Mr. Ellis has been employed with the district since 2012 and has worked at Artie Parker in the mathematics department. I know that this seems quite weighty. I will add that of these people, I believe 3 of them are teaching couples, so you get the 2 for 1 there. Okay. Again, on behalf of the district and or behalf of Lori, myself, and all the trustees, we wish all of these people, we thank them for their service and we wish them all the best in whatever their future holds.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from anybody? Okay, we'll move on to Superintendent of Educational Services and Programming, Ms. Henderson.
I think everybody has my report. It's just for half the month. Just a couple of things I'm going to highlight. I'm going to keep this short tonight. Special services review, that was the province, the special education. They were here to visit us last Monday. That was Leslie Gertson and Marilyn Robinson. There'll be a follow-up meeting. They identify some of our students that they want to come and visit, and they come to the schools and they check it out, and then we're going to meet back with them to see if they have any suggestions or if we have any questions for them. The other is the PD this Friday coming up. It's a district-wide PD, and this is a school-based professional development, so each of the schools are responsible for doing something that they see is necessary within their schools. So a few of the things that will be happening is the blanket exercise up at Wapanuck Community School. There'll be some first aid training for some of our teachers, some strong beginnings around the numeracy piece. We have some grade group curriculum studies and some grade book training. So that's going to be happening on Friday. The other piece that I've included is we're responsible for our Thompson Aboriginal Accord submission, and that was due last week. So I just wanted to give you the heads up that this is what's going to be coming out in the report that is released on June 21st, National Aboriginal Day. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, Leslie?
Lori, strong beginnings math. There's a strong beginnings math and is there a strong beginnings literacy?
Yes.
And just two. Okay.
Sorry, so Strong Beginnings is something that's done at the beginning of every year with every student, and it's assessment for teaching. So we have literacy, we have numeracy, and this year the focus is on numeracy. So.
All right.
Yeah.
I just got a brain crack. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Moving on to Secretary Treasurer's report. Oops, sorry.
Sorry, I also, 7.1, letter to Minister Wishart. I needed to send him a letter in regards to our calendar. Our school calendar, the number of days is prescribed by the Minister of Education, but because we've moved our spring break to accommodate the winter games, we're going to be one less teaching day because the Good Friday lands at the end of March. So
Okay.
we'll have one less instruction day. So I needed him to know that, so.
Okay, so he has been informed?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Okay, moving on to Secretary Treasurer's report. Ms. Knott?
Expenditures for the month of April, accounts payable in the amount of $1,510,692.82 were put through. Teacher payroll has been processed for $2,016,026.48, and our support staff payroll has been processed for $607,369.99. This time I bring forward the recommendation that expenditures for April 2017 in the total amount of $4,134,089.29 be approved.
Motion from somebody to that effect? Trustee McDonald, seconder, Trustee Fitzpatrick, all in favor? Opposed, if any, the motion is carried. Okay.
Circulated were year-to-date expenditures as of May 3rd, 2017. Right now, our expenditures as of May 3rd, we're at 72% of plan, tracking as expected. No crazy surprises at this time. Yeah, just information.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. Item 9.1 regarding Remembrance Day. I'll just read out this statement. When a paid holiday occurs on a Saturday or Sunday, the holiday shall be observed on a working day or working days continuous with the weekend. Such days shall be determined by the board. This is from Article 14.02. Recommendation that the 2 floater holidays available to the United Steelworkers support staff as per Article 14.01 be increased to 3 floater holidays for the 2017-18 contract year to accommodate the November 11th, 2017, which falls on a Saturday. Okay, somebody like to move that, please? Trustee Land, seconder for that? Trustee Tucker, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? 2017. Okay,
And this one's USW, so I'm gonna abstain.
right, okay, Don will abstain, we'll write that in the minutes, one abstention. Yeah, the United Steelworkers are support staff, that's who. Oh, Kelly?
Article 1402.
Okay, oh, in the recommendation, okay, right,
Just a
okay,
friendly
yeah,
amendment.
just a friendly typo there. Okay, all in favor of the motion, please?
I just have
Go
one
ahead,
more,
go ahead.
Comment. Dawn, is it an abstention or a declaration of conflict of interest to be noted in the minutes?
Okay, that one.
Okay.
Okay, conflict of interest because the spouse is represented by the steelworkers here in our district.
Shall be recorded.
Okay, and we'll record that. Okay, try one more time for the voting. All in favor? Opposed, if any? The motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence. Article. Item 10.2, Kitties Northern Preschool request for extension of lease at Deerwood School. The Board of Directors of the Kitties Northern Preschool requested a continuation of the lease agreement with the School District of Mystery Lake for the 2017-18, 2018-19, and 2019-2020 school years. The lease has previously been renewed on a yearly term dependent on the space at Deerwood Elementary School. Recommendation that the Kitties Northern Preschool lease agreement at Deerwood School be renewed for the 2017-2018 school year. Would somebody like to make that motion, please? Trustee Land, seconder, Trustee Lychuk, all in favor of that motion?
Sorry, what exactly is the motion?
It's, the agreement be renewed, 2017-2018. It's on a yearly basis.
But the request is for 3 years.
but we always do it yearly because
Yeah,
of space.
I just want to be
Yeah,
clear that.
yeah,
the
we
rec-
always do it yearly for space because we leave it open. Because if Deerwood needed the space, then we would have to decline. So we do it on a yearly basis. So the motion is that be renewed for 2017-18. Okay, is that, Leslie?
Sorry, just, to, and out of curiosity, this, the motion for 1 year is recommended by the superintendents or Keith Dirksen, our superintendent of facilities, or somebody like that, supported by them as well?
Yeah.
And recommendations by them?
We've always done it on a yearly basis for the past while now. They did ask for, it was about maybe 3 years ago, and we said, no, let's do it yearly because we don't know what our space requirements are. So we've been doing it yearly for a little while now, based on exactly what you just said.
And the population hasn't grown too much at Deerwood Schools for space. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, any more questions, anybody? No? Okay. Yearly, yeah. Yeah. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? The motion is carried. Okay, moving on to 10.3, McDonald Youth Services. 2017 marks 25 years of service in Thompson for McDonald Youth Services. They are inviting everyone to join them for a birthday celebration on July the 6th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the C.A. Nesbitt Arena and outdoor track at the Valley Regional Community Center. We have a poster in our package outlining what's going to be happening that day, so just let everybody know about that. So it's a community event that we can support. We have students who are attending Artie Parker Collegiate who are with McDonald Youth Services and have been supporting them for a long time. Okay, moving on to committee reports. Okay, Policy Committee, Ms. Slychuk.
We have a meeting scheduled for June 1st. We haven't had one since our last meeting.
Okay. Education and Programming is,
We haven't had a meeting since our last meeting, and our
Okay.
next meeting is May the 23rd, which should be ahead of the school board meeting. And I think we have a presentation scheduled. Is that where we're thinking about it?
We do, and we were gonna invite.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if that can go out through AllNet as an invitation maybe?
so we,
With
otherwise we won't
regards
forget.
to technical rotational programming at the high school, so the high school's gonna be there. Is that correct, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
Falsely advertised.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay, yeah, I certainly will need a friendly reminder, otherwise I'll forget to show up, so. Okay, Public Relations, Ms. Fitzpatrick. Okay, good, okay. Okay, Finance, Property, Personnel, Trustee McDonald.
Finance met today before the meeting. On the agenda, we reviewed the expenditures report that has already been circulated and presented as part of this meeting. We reviewed the district's capital projects plan, which included projects completed last year and planned for next year. We'll also be bringing a motion forward at the next board meeting seeking public school finance approval to add to our accessibility reserve.
Okay. Trustee comments. We'll start with Trustee Fitzpatrick and work our way around the room. Trustee comments, Sandra?
For being so accommodating and having us here tonight, and for bringing coffee and donuts.
Trustee Land?
I would echo the comments and also acknowledge the meeting's co-chairs for being here as well, keeping us up to date.
Okay, Trustee Lychuk?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. It's always a pleasure to come to the schools, and thank you to Mr. Walbott and the staff and the student council for hosting us tonight and for the co-chairs presenting Manitoba Games. That's awesome.
Trustee McDonald?
Two events over the past couple of weeks. One was badminton zones, which were, as usual, quite awesome. So a couple hundred athletes. Senior team won the banner, and sent a representative from each event to provincials, which was pretty cool. And as well as the juniors won medals in 3 events. The other was Knights of Columbus, where first and foremost, the voice of the games, Mr. Womboat, awesome.
He's pretty good MC, isn't he?
Did a great job. Spectacular organization there, just from everyone. A lot of kids, big crowd, lots of fun, and actually ran almost bang on schedule, which was not what I expected.
Precision. Okay, yeah, I too was at the Knights of Columbus last Wednesday with Dawn and Trustee Land. The 3 of us were distributing medals to the victorious athletes who were there. And it runs like a Swiss clock, very precise and on time and very efficient. So thanks to you guys for doing that. Trustee Tucker?
Nothing, what can I say? I mean, yeah, thanks for the evening here, that's great. And nights is a whole different discussion, but, yeah, just thank you very much to Mr. Wombold, the school.
Just want to make a comment to the Knights of Columbus. It was on track because they worked right through their lunch hour and gave up lunch and had about 10 minutes to have something to eat, just so that they can make sure that the games ran on time. So, yes, thank you to all the coaches and volunteers. Mm-hmm.
It never ended in time when my kids were in it.
No.
Part of the issue was it being on a school night this year.
Yeah.
Because of the conflicts, so they wanted, I mean, it's on a Friday night, if it goes a little later, it's
easy,
night, but
yeah.
the kids
For sure.
having to get up in the
Parents
morning.
crying down from fatigue.
Okay, questions from the public about items pertaining to the agenda? Anybody out there in TV land want to say something? No? Alrighty. Oh,
And I didn't do the school report, but thank you to the trustees for the gym expansion, the money supported to the public school finance, and then all our renovations as well that happened. And when you're finished, I'd love to take you on a tour. Show you
which
the-
we'll do right away
the new
before we go into in-camera. Okay? Okay, so we'll have our little tour right away, and then we'll go into our in-camera maybe in about 15 minutes or so? 10, 15
It's going to
minutes?
take more than 15 minutes.
Well, whatever, 10, 15, whatever it
Look at
takes to,
beautiful jet.
yeah,
We
whenever
should
you get
have a game
back.
of bump.
Okay, so motion to go in camera?
Okay, on behalf of the school district and Riverside School and the staff and students, we're really excited to have the gym expansion at our school. And students have way more exercise, a lot of fun, and it was nice to see the hard work and everyone coming together to make this happen. And timing was miraculous, so thank you to everyone. So we have our new mats as well that we provided. And the gym teachers are really, or physical education teachers are really excited because we have the new equipment room as well. That's a lot bigger, so I'll show you guys that. The gymnasium is about 20 feet longer as well, so that makes it a lot better. And then Keith's maintenance crew built the shelving. Keith Dirkson's our maintenance person. And so they did the nice shelving for the room. If you can see, it only used to come to this beam right here. This was it. So everything had to fit in this little narrow pathway. And then they actually got a nice gym office as well. And Keith Dirkson's crew built the shelving for in here and also the little nook corner for our second physical education teacher. So we are very thankful again to the school board and everyone who allowed this to happen. Thanks.